So this isn't really the return to YouTube that I was imagining. 3-1 to Everton, as you probably know. Not very happy about it. Not happy at all about it. There's loads to talk about. In fact, I'll talk about the whole channel situation at the end, guys, because I really just want to get into this game. And actually, I'm really curious to see what Jose Mourinho says about this. But at the time of recording, the game has just ended literally 2 minutes ago. I actually would prefer to film it tomorrow after hearing what Mourinho says, after having some time to think about what's happened, to talk to my friends and see what they think. But you know what, I just don't have the time, and as I said, I'll talk more about that later in the video. But for now, let's get into this. Okay. 3-1 Everton. Yeah, actually, before I start, I just want to say something quite funny. Just to lighten the mood. I actually had Steven Naismith in my fantasy Premier League team, but I kept him on the bench. What a shame. Because I had faith in Chelsea to bounce back after the international break, get that clean sheet, get that win under their belt, to build some momentum. The Champions League starting now, the Capital One Cup starting now, everything's starting now. Next week games against Arsenal, loads of games to come. But that obviously did not happen, and my voice sounds a bit weird. How do I want to do this? Let me just talk about how the flow of the game, sort of. Okay, so for the first, 17 minutes, before Naismith scored, when it was 0-0, I'd say it was pretty evenly matched, To be fair, Everton, I think they were the more likely side to score, purely because they were getting more shots, and that's been a problem with Chelsea forever, since June. It has been a long time since I started making these videos. Since June, this has been a problem, and I've said this again and again and again. Mourinho, please watch this video and learn, because we are playing like Arsenal 2 seasons ago. We're passing it, side, back, goal kick, boom, side, back, side. It's repetitive, it's boring, there's no progress, and this is exactly what Mourinho said. Okay, Mourinho, if you guys remember 2 seasons ago, Mourinho basically in every press conference that he ever went to basically said that Arsenal suck at football. He basically said Arsenal have possession, but possession doesn't mean anything. He said Arsenal, pass the ball a lot, but they don't pass it into any good areas. But that's exactly what Chelsea are doing right now. That's literally what we're doing, and of course that led to Everton getting the opening goal in the 17th minute by Steven Naismith. And Steven Naismith, as soon as he came on, who came on? I forgot the name of the guy who got subbed off because of an injury. But as soon as Naismith came on, I just kind of said to myself, oh god, this could be bad. Because every game that he plays against us, he actually scores. And you guys will know that if you've watched the last few seasons, he just seems to score against us. And hat-trick today, a perfect hat-trick to be fair. Header, left foot, right foot. But he did score. And then again, he scored in the 22nd minute. Within the space of 5 minutes, 2 goals, Everton 2-0 up, and it seemed like Everton were just going to dominate for the rest of the game. It seemed like Chelsea were dead. As I said before as well, Chelsea showed no spirit at all, no desire, no hunger, no motivation, no nothing. We just sort of played, and then a goal out of nowhere, Nemanja Matic, to be fair, a phenomenal strike. Really, it was 30-40 yards out, with his left foot straight into that top left corner. Beautiful strike. It kind of came out of nowhere. As I said, Chelsea, we didn't really start dominating or anything. It was just sort of an even game, and Nemanja Matic got the goal. But then, since then, for the last remaining 10 minutes of the half, we played well. We dominated. We had the chances. We had the initiative. Everton, I don't think they even had any shots at all in the last 10 minutes. We were dominating. We were destroying them. We didn't score, but we played well, and we looked like the side who was going to score next. And at 2-1 going into halftime, in the beginning of the second half, I had faith that Chelsea were going to do well. I had faith that we could turn this around. We looked good. But of course that wasn't the case. But to be fair, we did start off the second half pretty well. We had the possession, we had the initiative. In fact, I think we had 75% possession at one point in that second half, which says a lot about how we were playing. But as I said, no shots. If you have no shots, you have no goals. It's as simple as that. Of course, in a desperate attempt to kind of liven up the game, we did bring in Kennedy, we brought in Falcao, we brought in Willian, and Kennedy, to be fair, didn't have his best game. He misplaced a lot of passes, he just didn't show the quality that he showed against Crystal Palace. Falcao, you know what, he didn't get any support. That's all I can say. The other, I don't think Chelsea as a team had a shot on target in the last 20-30 minutes of the game, so you can't really blame Falcao for anything. I don't think he played bad at all. I think he played a lot better than Costa. Costa frustrates me. I'll get to that. And third substitute, Willian, he came on. By then, I'd say by the time he came on, all of the Chelsea players kind of switched off. They kind of accepted defeat, and no one was running. No one was showing any hunger, any fighting spirit. Don't blame Willian as well. And of course, in the 82nd minute, Naismith gets the goal. And something about Naismith's goals. Actually, no, I don't know. Let's go through the team lineup player by player, as I like to do in my match reviews. Begovic, I think he had a phenomenal game. He made some really, really good saves, especially in the first half. Kept us in the game. In fact, he did concede. But the goals he conceded, not his fault. Let me tell you why a bit later. But I think he kept us in the game at certain moments, more than once. He pulled up some great saves, and it's a shame that Courtois out. And by the way, if you guys don't know, Courtois actually had to undergo surgery, and he's going to be out for a few months, which isn't great at all. I'm not happy about it. Mourinho's not happy about it. No one's happy about it. But Begovic, he is a more than good backup. I'm very, very happy with him. And the defense, this is where it gets interesting. Azpilicueta, I think he played good. I feel like he's kind of lacking the tightness that he had last season. How he just stick onto players and put in the tackle at that precise moment, that precise millisecond. I feel like he's lacking that, but he is by far the best defender in the Chelsea team right now. John Terry, to be fair, I think he's getting better. The beginning of the season he didn't play too well, but I think he's getting better. I think today he didn't play bad at all. He played well. Kurt Zouma, I think he played well. Just like John Terry. I think they played pretty well. You know everything I'm gonna say. Firstly, why did Ivanovic even start the game? That is my question to you. 30 minutes before the game began, when the team sheets came out, as soon as I saw that, I thought to myself, we're gonna lose this game. We're gonna lose. It's as simple as that. And don't get me wrong, I love Ivanovic. He's been a great player for the last few centuries. And I value loyalty a lot as just a human trait to have. So I love him. I think he's great. But there is a time when you as a manager, Mourinho, you have to realize that if there is a problem in your team, unless you fix it, you're just gonna keep failing and failing and failing. And that's been the story of our Premier League campaign. I swear, out of the 12 goals that we've conceded so far, and yes, you heard that right, we conceded 13 goals now, I think, because they scored 3 today. 13 goals in 5 games. Let me tell you something interesting. Mourinho, in his first season at Chelsea, in the 04-05 season, during his first stint, he conceded 15 goals for the whole season in the Premier League. In 38 games, he conceded 15 goals. This season, in 5 games, we conceded 13 goals. What does that say? And out of all those goals, I could promise you right now, if Ivanovic had not been there for any of the games, we wouldn't have conceded at least 8 of them. At least 8 of them. Literally, go watch the highlights. You'll just see Ivanovic. And it's not even just the goals that we're conceding, it's even just during the game. Especially today, his positioning was off. Everything he did was off. The first goal, his fault. Where was he? He should have been on the right. He was playing center back for whatever reason. So he could just get the cross in, Naismith gets an easy header. Second goal, Ivanovic, he should be getting tight on him. He should be getting tight on Naismith. There's no one running down that flank, so he had no one to worry about. He should be getting tight on him. So, second goal, Ivanovic, what are you doing? Third goal, to be fair, that's not his fault. It's just the whole Chelsea team was playing very, very attacking, so we only left a few defenders back. I can understand that because we were trying to chase the game. But the first 2 goals, that basically dictated how the whole game was going to play out. Ivanovic, Mourinho, what are you doing? After the Crystal Palace game, hearing Mourinho's post-match interview, he said, there's a time when loyalty takes its toll. There's a time when you have to take a player out, when you have to say to yourself that enough is enough. Enough is enough. And I thought by that, I thought he clearly meant that IVANOVIC was not going to play in the next game. But that's not the case. You see my rage right now. But that wasn't the case. IVANOVIC played for whatever reason. And Baba Rahman, he's on the bench. And why? And why? Because so clearly, IVANOVIC is the problem. Listen, there's many problems in the Chelsea squad. None of them, like players like Hazard, players like Fabregas, players like Costa, they're not playing up to par. They're not playing the way they used to play last season. That's an undeniable fact. However, the fact that we're conceding so many goals, the fact that our defense is so fragile, mainly goes 90% of the fault goes to Ivanovic. And I'm not saying, sack him. I'm not saying don't give him a new contract. I'm not saying fire him. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying is leave him out for at least 1 or 2 games. Just to see how we do with Baba Rahman, to see if Ivanovic really is the problem. Because he might not be, but he is. So, at least to show us as fans, for Mourinho to show us that he understands that that Ivanovic hasn't been playing well, that he understands how football works, so that we can get behind Mourinho. I can't get behind Mourinho. Listen, I love Mourinho. I love him. I don't, actually I want to talk about this a bit later as well. Is he going to get sacked? Any of that? Because there's a lot of speculation going about that. I don't, but I'll talk more about it later. Now, I always try to get behind him because I love the guy. I believe in his philosophy. I believe that he is genuinely one of the greatest managers in the world right now and of all time. But when he makes decisions like this, not 1 game, not 2 games, not 3 games, but after 6 whole games, if he keeps making the same mistakes over and over and over again, it gets you thinking, what is he doing? What is he doing? And that's what I'm thinking. What the hell is he doing? I could make a whole video about Ivanovic just talking. And actually, I did make a whole video about Ivanovic about a month ago. Just after the Man City, no, just after the Swansea game. And I defended him. I said, you know what? He was one of the greatest fullbacks in the Premier League last season. He's a great player. He's a legend of the club. We should get behind him. We should be supporting him. But guess what? Time has flown. Games have come. He has performed badly, consistently in every single game, and I have changed my mind. And that is exactly what Mourinho should have done about a month ago. But he hasn't done it even now. Even after everything that's happened, even after everything he said, nothing's happened. Nothing. Before I just, I feel like I've been talking about him for about 7 minutes now. Let me just move on. Midfield, Matic and Mikel started the game. Matic, to be fair, I don't think he played that well. He scored a stunner, don't get me wrong. But other than that, he did nothing. So I'm still not convinced about Matic yet. I'm sure he will get there. I'm sure the whole Chelsea team will get there. It's just a question of when. Because the season started a month and a half ago. A month and a half. Come on. Jonathan Mikel. To be fair, I think Mikel has played better than Fabregas and better than Matic. I'm not just saying that to be funny or anything. I genuinely mean it because that's how bad they were playing. And that brings me on to Fabregas, who was non-existent for the first 35 minutes of the game. I genuinely, I was watching this with my brother. I even asked him, is Fabregas playing? Because I didn't see anything. I didn't see him touch the ball. I didn't see him cross the ball. I didn't see anything. And crossing, I will talk about crossing in a way. Let's move on to the wings. Pedro, he didn't play very well either. The thing is, when you come into a team where everyone is playing so badly, I feel like any transfer, even if we signed Messi right now, he would look below average. Because the whole team is just playing terrible football. It has just not been good. Pedro, I don't blame him, but he hasn't played well. We can't deny that. Hazard, actually during the international break for Belgium, he played poorly. In fact, I think the Belgian manager even went as far as to say that Hazard was the worst player on the pitch, even though he scored a goal for Belgium. And I think, his quality isn't shining. And it's not like Hazard to kind of just, lie down. It's not like him to stop working. It's not like him because He's shown in the last 2 seasons that he's been at the club that he's willing to work hard. He wants to get better. He's never satisfied with himself. He always wants to get better and better and better. And it seems like after he got the PFA Player of the Year award, he's just, I don't know where he is now. I don't know where he is. Hazard, please come back to us. And then striker, I could play better than Costa. That's all I'll say. That is all I will say. So that kind of, that's everyone. That's everyone. I think I went through every player. That was appalling. This performance was appalling. And I want to look at this in the context of the season. Because I remember after the Palace game, if you watch that match review, I was probably just depressed and just suicidal. Maybe not suicidal, but I was just sad, I was depressed, and I was just not happy because 4 weeks in, I'm talking about the Crystal Palace game, we were 4 weeks in, we'd lost 2 games, one at home, we drew 1, and we won 1 barely. Not a great start. And that's continued now, and really, I thought, you know, in the transfer deadline day video, if you go watch that, I said I'm happy. I said I'm very, very happy with Chelsea's window. I'm very happy with the business we've done. I'm very happy with the players we have, because I think from the bigger perspective, Chelsea are going to get back on their feet. We're going to get back, we're going to stand up tall, and we're going to start playing the football that we know we can play. I thought that's going to happen, because I'm a guy who doesn't like to change his mind every single day. You know, I'm a guy who likes to, you know, look at things from a bigger perspective and just really, that word is key. I like to get things into perspective and look at the bigger picture. That's just how I think. That's just the way my brain works. So I really genuinely thought, you know, the international break will come. Players will be refreshed. They'll come back feeling fresh, feeling energized. They'll hit the ground running, you know, and everyone will forget about Chelsea's opening 4 games. But that is not the case. And the commentator was saying this for beIN Sports throughout this whole game against Everton, that the ramifications of this loss could be huge for Chelsea. And he even went as far as to say that I don't think, as the commentator, he doesn't think that Chelsea will be able to win the title if Chelsea loses this game. And what happened? We lost this game. And I don't think he's exaggerating. I think he has a genuine point there. You know, Man City plays against Crystal Palace later on today. Actually, the match starts in a few minutes. I'm going to go watch that next. But, you know, hopefully they don't win. But really, right now isn't a time to look at other clubs and see how they're doing. It's a time to look at our club, look at how we're playing, fix these mistakes. And really, as I said, I'm really, really curious as to see how Jose Mourinho reacts to this. I really want to know what he says in the press. Because, you know, usually he has some excuse up his sleeve. We should have got a penalty here. We should have had that. We should have done this. We were the better side. But I genuinely don't think that he can say any of that after today's game. I genuinely don't think so. I really don't think so. And I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out and says, they were the better team, we deserve to lose. I wouldn't be surprised. But it'll be interesting to see what he says. And speaking of Mourinho, I said I'll get to this, and here I am getting to it. Is he going to get sacked? Is he going to get fired? As I said, I don't think he will get sacked. But you know what? This was a thought that I was having while I was watching this game. And that thought was that if this was any other manager for Chelsea throughout the last 10 years, if it was literally any other manager, they'd be getting sacked. You know, if Chelsea stuck to their policy that they've had for the last 10 seasons, you know, look at the managers we've had. Avram Grant, what's his name? Gus Hiddink. We've had Ancelotti, we've had Di Matteo, we had Villas-Boas. We have like 10 more, I think. I can't think of all of them. But we've had loads, and really, if the same thing that applied, of course Benitez as well, if the same thing that applies to them applied to this current situation, they'd be getting fired, no questions asked. You know, we're 5 games in. We've lost 3. And remember, I think we lost 3 games in the whole of last season, or maybe 4. I'm pretty sure it's 3 though. In the whole of last season. And the first 5 games, we lost 3. We've drawn 1. We've barely won 1. It's a record that nobody is going to be proud of. And really, I'm worried. Before I just go on and say anything, as I said, I don't think Mourinho is going to get fired. I love Mourinho. As I said, I always try to get behind his back. I really hope he changes his tactics against Arsenal. Because imagine we lose against Arsenal, which is a very, very, very possible prospect. If we lose against Arsenal, in our first 6 games, we would have lost 4, drawn 1, and won 1. This is remarkable. This is really just unheard of if you think about it. I think that if Chelsea lose against Arsenal, I know it's very, very early on. I know it, but I don't think we're going to win the league. I'm going to put that out there now. If we lose against Arsenal, I think that's going to be a huge test of our character as a team. It's going to be a huge test of what we can do. Actually, I don't want to go as far as to say that we're not going to win the title, but it's going to be very, very, very difficult for us to win the title if we lose against Arsenal. And as I said, that's very, very possible. But before the Arsenal game, we do have that Tel Aviv game to worry about, which is in the Champions League. And Tel Aviv, they're from the Israeli league, okay? And we're playing at Stamford Bridge. We should be able to win this, and I think that game comes at a good time because we just need to win games. We just need to get winning. Whoever it's against, even if you play like an under 16 team, we just need to win because the players don't have confidence. They have no desire to do anything. We just need to get winning. We need to win. Whoever it's against. And if we lose against Tel Aviv, that will say something about where we are as a team right now, where we are as a club right now. I hope we don't. I really don't. I really hope we don't. I do think we're gonna win, even though today was a disappointing game. Actually, more than anything, I hope we win, because I would be genuinely worried if we lose against Tel Aviv at home in the Champions League. I really would. And actually, speaking of that game, let me just, that's the match review done for today. If you guys don't care about my personal life, turn off the video now. It's a depressing note to end on. But let me just kind of talk more about the channel for the last just 2 minutes or so, guys. I made an entire video talking about the whole situation right now, about my ACTs, about my science coursework, about my English exams. I got loads of stuff going on. My brain is going to explode. Actually, my DT coursework is starting as well. Loads of things are happening. And as I said, I'm not really going to be able to upload consistently for the next week or so. And really today, I'm just about squeezing this in. I really don't even have time to film this. But the Tel Aviv game, I will be making a match review on that. I will. And the Arsenal game, I definitely will. But it seems like match reviews will be the only type of videos I'll be coming out for the next week or 2. Because I am just so busy right now. But I've done my best. I've made this video. I hope you guys are happy. I'm happy to be back on YouTube. I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy about this result. I don't know, guys. I just don't know. Maybe I don't know. As I said, this really is remarkable. This whole streak, 5 games for the defending champions of England. 5 games, 3 losses, 1 draw. 1 loss. I think that if we lose against Arsenal, really, this will be remembered in history. I think 5 seasons later, we'll be remembering. Remember the 15-16 season when we lost 5 games and when we lost 4 games in the first 6 games. Because really, this is unheard of. I've been watching the Premier League for how many years now? For about 6 years or 7 years or so, and I don't recall anything like this ever happening, especially for defending champions. This really is remarkable. It's going to be interesting to see how Chelsea bounce back, but hopefully our return to consistency, our return to wherever we were last season can start against Tel Aviv this Wednesday. As I said, I will be making a video about it. I will be making a match review. But until then, voice crack. Until then, stay blue.